Welcome to 3D Movie Cinema, the only show that's 3 dimensions away from Predator Badlands being called Prey 2. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Predator Badlands, released in 2025. Predator Badlands is directed once again by Dan Trachtenberg, who previously directed Predator, Killer of Killers, and Prey. The movie is written by Patrick Aison and Dan Trachtenberg, which stars Ellen Fanning and Demetrius Schuster-Comartin. And the movie's essentially about a young Yautja predator who is sent out after his father thinks he is the weakest and loser of the pack. And basically his father wants him dead to say his blood will give them great honor. And then of course his brother, who is training him to be a great Yautja hunter, basically kills his dad. He basically tries to kill his dad, and to protect his brother, and then his dad kills him. So then he is sitting out there. He escapes from his dad's clutches and goes out there to hunt this creature. And then of course it goes to his alien planet, and on the alien planet he encounters an android from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, played by Ella Fanning, who is this robot who has a twin sister. Her twin sister is like an evil version of her, where she's out there that's there to hunt her, and they're both androids. And she's basically loyal to the company, and she's a no-nonsense, while the other one's a fun-loving android. And so hilariosity ensues, and they team up together, and they basically go on a journey to kill the creature. Well, when I first heard this plot, I'm like, this sounds stupid, this is dumb. But then when I saw the movie, I actually love this movie. I think this is in my top 3 Predator movies. I'm a huge fan of this movie. Like, look, when I heard it was PG-13 rating, that was kind of, because I'm like, Predator should be rated R. But this movie doesn't need to be rated PG-R. It's PG-13 because there's no human blood in the movie. And, like, there's lots of violence, but there's no blood. I mean, there's no F slurs. I was like, really? Like, I don't understand why, like, this may have to be rated R. I mean, I understand people were upset, like, oh, there's no men in the movie. I'm like, well, to be fair, there is a man in the movie. There's Android Man, and the Yautja is a male. I'm sorry if I say Yautja, because I've always called them Yautjas. I didn't call them Yautjas. I mean, until recently, now everybody else calling them. It's kind of like the Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul thing, where some people call them Yautjas, and then other people call them Yautjas. Because we never really heard their name said out loud. So, sorry if I call them Yautjas. That's just the way I grew up with her hearing their name is Yautjas. So, but yeah, the Yautjas are basically his whole thing is to bring honor, because he's a predator. He's not hunting a human. He's hunting an alien creature, not the xenomorphs. But he's hunting this creature that is supposed to be like this giant creature that no real Yautja has ever killed before. And so basically he's going to hunt this thing, and then on top of that, this android and her are trying to kill. They're like that team. There's also like this little blue monkey thing that turns out to be a little baby version of that. And so that it helps them out and everything. And I will say, to the naked eye, some people might say this is a kid's film. It's not a kid's film. This is like, in fact, I think what's great about this movie is it is kind of like a lone wolf and cub situation. Or I can see it like Logan. This is like the Predator version of Logan, where it's like, he's trying to protect, this, like, him and this girl team up, and they have this little cub, and then you think the big creature is going to be the big villain of the movie, and instead the corporation is like the Weyland-Yutani Corporation robots are the villain. Like, the whole movie, I really like about that is you think one thing and it shows you the other, and I thought that was great. I liked Ella Fanning in the movie. I thought she was great. She's like she plays 2 different roles in the movie. She plays the sister, the other android sister, and then the good one that's like the comedic relief that has no legs. And she's really funny in the movie, and she's like really endearing, and you like her. And I liked her performance in this movie. I think she's really well done and real funny, and there's like a lot of great things in the movie. Like when the predator at one point gets spit on by like this, like a baby version of the creature, and then he gets angry, and she's like, no, she's marking you, and everything. And I thought it was great and everything, and I thought that was amazing. And then on top of that, when the Yautja is being hunted, is like they're about to go in this field to hunt for some food, and then like the android's like, oh, be careful. He's like, oh, be careful. That's, it's a shard field. So that means, you'll get cut to shreds. So basically, it has to leap through trees. I like that whole sequence. I'm like, this is so great, the whole leaping through sequence. And the opening credit with the brothers fighting the dad and him killing the brother, I thought that was so great. I actually really appreciate that. I know some people might get upset, and it kind of bothered me a little bit that he doesn't wear the predator mask and the cloaking, but apparently you have to earn the cloaking mechanism. And I do like how this ties into other lore in the Predator mythology. Like, this even ties into the Predator, where like with the cloaking mechanism is in like the little ball, because usually it's on the wrist gauntlet, but like in the Predator, so it's a little ball that goes in the cloaking. So I thought that was great that they actually acknowledged that. Like, they're like, look, the Predator happened, Predators happened, Predator 2 happened, and Predator happened. I think the only movies that did not happen in the Predator franchise is Aliens versus Predator and Alien versus Predator. I think there's the only two movies that hadn't happened, but every other movie has happened. And I like that they appreciate that they're keeping the lore. Okay, this happened. And I like the fact that this creature is not like just an asshole that's like, oh, I was worried. I was like, oh, it's going to be like, the movie is predictable in some ways, where the creature sometimes is like, hey, look, like, fuck off, and everything. But whenever, the creature, like, he becomes like, he's like, oh, you're a tool. I'm going to use you as a tool. And so, and then of course, like, he gets upset because he's not used to being used, because he's like, oh, you can't use me. You're a tool and everything. And I thought that was great, because he cannot process, because he's still a youngling, and so he cannot, process the fact that he got used by an android, because the android's smarter than him, because he's actually a being compared to the android, which is not. It's just a robot. And so, like, because she's needed to get her people here so they can capture it. And, and I thought that was unique, that twist. And then, of course, the whole third act of the movie, when like I like the Predator fighting the creature, and then I loved whenever the Predator, like, like, there's a whole fight sequence. And I know some people are like, oh, they rip off Aliens. Yes, they do. Yes, Ella Fanning's twin sister is the villain. She gets in like a robot, like the machine, like in Aliens, and is trying to fight the Predator. And she even finds the Predator's ship that he crash landed in, and she steals all his weapons and she's using against him. And I thought that was so cool. It's like the hunter becomes the hunted, and I thought that was great, and everything. And even when she's fighting the creature and you think the creature inhales her, they pull Men in Black 2, and then the creature blows up and she's like, just bald, and like, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I really like this movie. And I like that, there are things I disliked the movie. Like, I like that he went back and killed his father at the end. I thought that was like, yes, I wanted that. But then when they did, like, in the movie, and then there's like a post-credit scene where it's like, now it's my mother, and I'm just like, okay, that's stupid. I would have removed that. I'm like, that's stupid. You should let them just get in a ship and take off. Do not let them do that, because now it's like, I hated that, because it reminds me of the movie Skyline, where they had that at the end where this dude become an alien, and then at the end he fights it. He becomes, and then you sees him fighting the creatures at the end in the credits, and I'm just like, that's so stupid. Like, I wanted it just to end. Once the hit, you say directed by, it's over. And I thought that was one issue I had with the movie. I also felt like the score is just not as memorable as, say, like the Alan Silver score, or even the score from the last movie. I just feel like the score, there's not, like, even the score on Prey was much better. I just feel like the score was just not as interesting in this movie. And also, I just felt like for $100 million, this movie really earns its budget. Like, I really feel like this movie felt like a $100 million movie. It did not feel like a cheap, like, if you would have told me, by the way, this movie was $80 million, I'd believe you, because it feels like, $100 million movie. It doesn't feel like a $200 million movie, which I'm glad it isn't. It feels like $100 million. It feels like every budget penny counted. I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't have made, like, if they didn't have like trailers on set, and if it was just like guerrilla style. Like, it just feels like everything in this movie worked to its advantage. And I do like that they have this little creature, like, at the end that follows him around, and you see, like, they're trying to get, it's just they're wrecking replicas. I do wish he would use this blaster cannon in the movie, the Predator. I understand they're trying a different look, different style, but I really appreciated this, and I thought this was a well-made film. If I had to give this movie a score, I'm going to give it an A-. Thank you so much.
Sharpton for president, y'all. I'm outie.
Jesse Jackson for VP.